Hey.
Welcome to Heroes and Generals Devstream number 31, live from Copenhagen. I am Reto Gargamel. This is the game director, Reto Redbjarne. And today we will talk about actually stuff you wanted to hear about last time. Something to do with paratroopers, parablocking, something. I don't remember. Something like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to address that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll talk maybe about that. First, we'll start with maybe an announcement. We should do this more often. I guess we, in case you didn't know, today is Victory Day. Actually, this week was Victory Day in Europe for many different countries. In the UK today, May 8th, so that's 70 years ago since Admiral Nelson defeated the dinosaur army of Genghis Khan, something like that. It's 70 years ago that officially the war ended in the UK. On Monday, it's going to be, not Monday, but tomorrow, May 9th, is Victory Day in Russia, and they're going to celebrate it on Monday because basically if you have a holiday that falls on a Saturday, they do it the following Monday. So that means a lot of people are going to have a lot of time to play war games. And because of that, we're going to be basically adding our little basically a touch to the celebration by giving you a gift voucher for this weekend. So I think our technical guy is adding it right now to a message. So if you enter that voucher code until Monday morning, the 11th at 10 a.m., you can enter VE Day 2015, and it gives you 1 day of free veteran membership. And as usual, it's only redeemable once per account. If you already have veteran membership, of course, that is added to what you already have. So enjoy. And I guess we can move on to... I guess the first announcement I should make is last night we did a redeploy because there was a little glitch with the server, with the database. I might as well mention that when stuff like that happens, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
By the way, like yesterday, what happened is for a while there, the database that records everything that happens to your player account was unresponsive. So basically, around 7 p.m. Central Europe time until we took the server down, which was like half an hour later. No events were recorded, so that means if you spent credits, war funds, if you earned them, if you participated in battles, all of that was not kind of like forgotten for a little, like a few minutes. Mm-hmm. So usually when that happens, I get people who go like, "Oh shit, I lost war funds." No, you didn't. It's like you never spent them, basically. So, but you never earned the ones that you earned before just before we take the server offline, basically. But this allowed us, though, since we had to do a server maintenance, we decided to also take the opportunity to roll out something that we felt was needed because of recently there had been very short wars. They didn't last more than
a few minutes,
a few hours. And what was happening is that a lot of players were taking advantage of the added. There's a little bit more range to the paratroopers.
Basically, we corrected all the assault teams to correct ranges and speeds, and that obviously made it possible to really quickly capture capitals in the war game, and obviously it also made it even worse with the blocking problems we have so far. The fix we've made so far for the quick wars has been to basically just start the stockpile of paratroopers and planes with the 0, and then slow down the production a lot. So paratroopers will be difficult to use
to get
in the war for the next period. We are working on a larger fix for the whole blocking thingy, the blocking problem, but that's a fix that is not easy to do. we have to fix this thing where you could reset the timer in the lobby and all that stuff that people have been complaining about, which is obviously a bug.
Maybe we should explain that in detail. We're trying to get rid of the bug which allows people to jump into
basically stall battles that will never happen or never trigger. So you just go into if they can continue doing that, they will have an infinite non-started battle which blocks the strategic map, which is obviously not intended.
So we're trying to get rid of that.
Yeah, but that's we try to do it in a good way. So it's not going to be like a quick fix. So we're working on it as a larger feature, but the programmer who's working on it, he has another feature that he actually has to finish first, which is more
it's
important.
A lot of back-end
Yeah, some back-end programming that actually needs to be fixed first. So it is actually how annoying that it might sound. We need to finish this feature first before we can actually make the fix. But after that, we'll make sure that it hits live as quickly as it's possible. And until then, our only solution is actually just to make the paratroopers
they don't appear
often in the strategy game. That's not how that's not intended, but that's our only fix for the short term.
But there is something else also coming that we will be discussing a little bit more today in detail. I guess we might as well start getting into it. But I guess as a recap, so since last night's redeploy, what happens is that you start the war with 0 paratroopers in your stockpile, and each production cycle you get some of them, but not as much as in the previous war, and that is only temporary. Yeah. So to move on with
it's also to enable the assault team to sort of spread out a little bit on the map before you start to capture all the capitals, because that was one of the problems. Hopefully that's gonna stall the problem for a while. It's not the perfect solution, but it's what we can do right now in order to make the game run forward again.
But this kind of sort of brings us to something that is going to be visible in the V build. In the V build, actually, we haven't announced the name of it. I guess we might as well. Did we? We didn't say it, right?
I don't know if we said it.
It's Vasilevsky. Yeah. And that happens to be, actually, I didn't get the info. It's a Russian general.
Russian general, one of the generals responsible for the Stalingrad battle.
Well, I guess we could maybe look.
You can look that up on Google.
So in Vasilevsky, which is the next update, there will be a new
feature in the strategy game. Something that we have been working on for a bit. It's called the morale system. Basically, we're adding a system that affects your assault teams. You can see it affects the morale of the soldiers. They get, you could say, tired of war, if you say it that way. And obviously, if they get too tired of the war, if they get too low on morale, they'll basically surrender. So it gets dangerous now to actually just send your troops directly to the front line and just keep attacking, because at some point, even though your troops your assault team is fully reinforced, they might actually surrender if they're low on morale, which makes it a bit dangerous. I think I have a little graphic I can show if I can find it. Can we switch to the?
That's not the one you want.
Oh no,
that's kind of part of that. There you go. There it is, isn't it? Can you full screen that? I don't know if you can see.
I will see if I can.
A bit bigger. Yeah, there we go.
Is that okay? 2 seconds. I'll just. This is just annoying. Is that okay? Does it fill the screen, or are we in the way? Here we go.
Never completely. So that we don't see our
here you go.
Big heads.
Basically, the system works like this. Each assault team have a number of morale points. Right now, in this example, I've set it to 100 points. And each time an assault team goes into battle, it loses an amount of morale points. If they manage to win the battle, they get a little morale point bonus, but it's smaller than the one they lost. So everybody involved in a battle will lose some morale, but the winners will get a little bit of it back. I'll explain that later, why we have that mechanic in. If your assault team's morale drops below a certain threshold, right now we set it to, I think it's 25. It's one of the other numbers that we might need to tweak on. Then your assault team is sort of like it's demoralized. You can still move it around on the battlefield, but if it gets in any contact with enemy troops, the assault team will surrender. And surrendering means that they will get handed over to the enemy, which means you lose all your resources and the enemy actually gains them.
They convert.
They convert to the enemy resources. Yeah, that's also a number that we might do a percentage modifier on, but right now it's actually the rough, the really hardcore version where all the troops and tanks and everything just goes directly into the enemy's production line, which also means that every time an assault team surrenders, the enemy gets a sort of like a morale boost, a production boost.
Mm-hmm. So if you're spamming assault teams,
you're basically handing over resources to the enemy, which is going to make an interesting mechanic. At least it's obviously one of those numbers that we have the possibility to tweak, but right now we're going to try the most dangerous version of it.
I already get a comment here that a guy saying like, "Oh, I don't like this. If your AT is kicking ass, they should gain morale."
Yeah,
says the young bull.
I'll explain to you guys why we have this kind of system. Going into battle is tiresome, no matter how much you're an elite soldier or whatever. So in order to simulate that troops actually wear out over time, even though they actually win, we have this system where you lose a little bit every time you go into battle. I just forgot to say that obviously the way to gain morale is to move your assault team to a
non-conflict area,
allied battlefield, a non-conflict area, and then the assault team will actually regain morale over time. So just move them back a little bit, and let them rest, and they'll recover their morale.
This is simulating the idea that if you keep soldiers on the front line, it's proven in military history. If you keep guys on the front line, there's a certain number of days they can last, and after that they call it the 1,000-mile stare, right? They just go like, oh fuck, and like stuff is blowing up, and they're just like in war movies, they're just looking straight ahead, and that's because they've just seen guys getting killed every single day. Yeah. They've been sleeping in a hole. They've been like eating rations. All they want to go is go get a beer, go see hookers. And so they
exactly.
And so you have to take them off the front line, right?
But the thing is, it also means that if you want to make an advance into enemy territory and you want to punch a hole in the front lines and keep moving, there's a limit to how far you can move into the enemy territory with an attack, unless you're actually very, very good at like you would say, like you attack with one assault team and then you actually pull it back and bring in a fresh one. So you have to sort of like overstep the attack, which is also a normal military tactic for like a prolonged attack. You will have to recycle troops and pull them out in and out of the you say the spearhead. So that's kind of like to simulate that effect as well. So it will limit rush attacks unless they're very well coordinated. Obviously, the same goes for defending forces. That if you defend, you will have to replace your defenders occasionally. Otherwise, they will wear down too. Even though they will obviously just gain morale of just being positioned in the defensive positions.
But if they keep getting attacked, they lose their morale, of course.
Another thing is that if your assault team gets if it surrenders, if you get knocked out, they get undeployed, and the assault team will have to regain up to 100 morale points again before you can redeploy them. So it means that if you are too aggressive with your troops and just keep plowing ahead, they get knocked out, then you get a time punishment on for when you can actually redeploy your troops. So you have to, if you want to stay in the battle, you have to be careful about what you actually do. Again, numbers that we can tweak on here is something that we will look at and see how it affects the game. Obviously, having a lot of assault teams means that you can just replace with new assault teams, but you still at some point end up with no assault teams to deploy.
So, but you're saying, I'm looking at the graph here. If like in situation 2A, the player loses the battle, and the morale limit drops below, and you wrote all the combat that's out of commission, basically, right?
Yeah.
They can't function.
Yeah.
So if they're below that limit and they just lost a battle, they get what? They get undeployed, or they retreat to the.
You have to look at it as they actually surrender to the enemy. They meet the enemy here.
I'm looking at the other one on top.
On top here.
They retreat. They don't get undeployed.
This
right?
is just you could say they have either lost a battle or they have won a battle. It doesn't really matter as long as they just completed a battle where they ended up having below 25 in morale, which means that this guy he should try and find a place for his assault team to not be attacked, a safe position.
So in that case, they're retreating.
He's just moving away here.
And they're moving away.
They're not really retreating. He's just moving. It could be a battle where he lost. Then he might be retreating to the nearest.
Okay, or if he did win.
It could be that he actually won and just moved on.
Okay.
And you see here in example, in step 3, he encounters an enemy assault team on his way. And instead of starting up a skirmish battle here, he will just surrender and say, "Oh, yeah, fuck it, I can't do it anymore, mother."
Yeah.
And so that's it's kind of like a new mechanic for the strategy game.
So I'm just trying to keep an eye on the.
Probably going to raise an army of like a cascade of questions for this one, but
and there is actually a question that I think it's Splixon who's asking that. Actually, sorry, it's Marv 2.0 who's asking, what about higher ranked assault teams? Do they lose morale more slowly, or is there?
No, there's no difference on that. We might put that in as well. We have to discuss this with the elite units and all the stuff. So now we have the possibility we have a number that we can tweak or we can set differently. But in the first go, we prefer to have everything equal, just to be able to control the system as its base, and then we can start to manipulate the system. Not too many. We generally don't like to have too many buttons to turn in the first go.
Actually, there's a good question from Wolfbane here. I'm just if the damn thing will stop auto scrolling. Wolfbane is asking. So let's say I have a capital city, a major city, we should say, with 1,000 units. The enemy sends in 1 unit, and suddenly 1,000 units lose morale, and if you repeat it 20 times, so my 1,000 units will surrender.
That's an example that yes, mathematically that would be possible to actually do that trick. We have thought about that. One of our QA guys said that that is possible to do this and this. But we have a few extra solutions extra rules that we'll apply in case this becomes a problem.
Because so it doesn't really matter what proportion you're dealing with here.
We don't take into account in this version that one guy might be attacking 1,000.
But you say in this version.
In this version, that it's the first version, so we are looking into if that's supposed to make sense. But I think it actually does make sense that even though that you're 10,000 guys against one, you're still in battle. Still, if you're unlucky, one of your guys gets hit. But we might tweak the amount of morale that you lose into a ratio between the attacking forces. But right now, it's a very simple system that we start out with.
I guess that's again first iteration, work in progress.
Yeah.
But I guess the way that units are spread out on the map, there's only usually there's only so much contact between units, and also if the one guy, I mean, it's I guess very seldom that you really only send one guy against 10,000 so far.
We have seen some of the players trying to do this, especially in the early days where there was very few assault teams on the map, and people would try to do all sorts of tricks. But it's something the less players there are in the campaign map, the easier it is to manipulate it. Basically, the more players there are, it becomes rather.
It's just noise in the end.
Yeah.
But with the way that right now we're trying to get rid of the blocking.
The blocking will be but it's going to be addressed in a slightly different way. But we are going to move to utilize the retreat mechanics and the morale system to make the blocking. Basically, I think about the blocking is that it's a completely fair. Well, it's not fair, but it's a completely valid tactic to try and block with a small unit. But right now we have the problem is that you could because of the technical side, you can actually make it block forever, which is not intended. It's okay to block, that's fine, but we're gonna lower the effect of blocking.
But I guess what people are also starting to wonder is, so what can we do that affects morale? You can rest your troops, but
yes, rest your troops.
Dead End 290 is asking, can generals, for example, spend? We were saying credits. I would say war funds, but could you spend war funds and make improve your morale with?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
No.
But there are things that do affect morale, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
There are actually.
I think you haven't shown that to me yet, so this is completely new.
Yeah. Can we? Yep. You can see this. This is actually a few more. We're going to introduce a few more combat patches.
Can we zoom in a little bit on those?
I don't know if it's.
If you zoom in with the.
Just a second, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's sticky.
I hate you, Wiki. Come on. What?
There you go.
Just gonna go this. Do it.
Okay, so this is the most you can.
We have a few combat badges coming up that.
That's the most you can do.
Fuck. We have this one. This little guy here.
Oh, there we go. now it's cooperating.
Yeah. Come on.
People are going to be pausing and scanning, mining this
for no secrets here.
For spoilers.
This little baby, the charismatic leader combat badge, is earned by going in battle.
What are we supposed to see in the artwork? Oh, it's a lion.
It's a lion.
It's a lion with a scroll.
Yeah. And that one actually,
very cool.
If I'm not, we have two coming up. Combat badges for the generals. One that actually increases the basic amount of morale. So instead of 100, you could have 115, for example, with this badge. That increases the amount of morale. And
you begin with.
Yeah, you begin with. And then we have one that increases the speed in which you recover morale.
Which is that's not the same one, is it?
That's the. See if I can find it. Oh, here it's gonna be.
And there's some of them that don't really have.
Yeah, on the tactical, there's a battlefield commander.
Ah, that's a really cool one.
Yeah, there you go, battlefield commander. That will increase the. And these badges are actually unlocked by playing the action game. This is unlocked by playing
a tactical.
That's a tactical weapon, and the purpose of this is actually to try and to give something to the guys who actually grind up their characters by playing as a soldier on the battlefield and then convert to a general at a later stage. He brings some experience with him from the battlefield onto his command position, and then he's able to inspire his troops better.
So that's something you can only get by being in the action game.
This you can only get by being in the action game, yeah. So these two actually affect the morale, which is I think it's nice. We have a third one actually coming up for the generals as well.
Wasn't that the one with the war victory?
That's the. No,
there was another one.
We have
something
one
else. Okay.
It's unlocked here on the chauffeur ribbon, but we can talk about that. Well, it's fine. It's a simple. We have a whole. We had a lot of designs ready for new combat badges, but these are the first ones that we're going to introduce that actually can be equipped by generals and used for the campaign game. The last one is one that a logistics expert, guy that's an expert in knowing how to optimize the transport of troops and their movement on the battlefield, which will make your assault teams move faster. Yeah.
So that's actually pretty cool that you start to have combat badges that influence the strategy game.
One thing about the combat badges for the generals is that obviously you can't take them on and off all the time. You take them on and then you commit them to the war, because other than that, people would be able to exploit them. Just taking the one that gives you 115 morale points, and then taking on another one after. So for generals, we have it's a slightly different mechanic where combat badges, once you equip them, they're not coming off again until either the end of the war or until all of your assault teams has been either beat or undeployed. So you also have to reset everything in order to do that. Makes them a little bit harder to use, but you have to think about it in the same way as you can't change combat badges in battle anyway for a normal soldier. That would be strange if you could do that.
So basically, for a normal soldier, the scope of a combat badge is
per battle.
Is per battle. For the officer, it's per war.
Yeah.
So does that mean you get one switch per war, as in you don't get asked at the beginning?
Currently one switch per war, but I think we have the system where if your assault team gets undeployed and you don't have any deployed assault teams, we allow you to actually switch them. I don't know if that actually made it into the build, but that was at least what we have been discussing. But so far it's per war. So
this being said, we talked about morale. We didn't show what it looks like in game. I thought there was something. There was something missing.
There's a little bit of. Can we have the?
We're if you just open it in the double click it,
Yeah, you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
here.
This is when you're basically you haven't unfolded the pane. You can just use the arrows for the and that's the other one.
I'm not that advanced.
So when you unfold the assault team pane on the right, you have. I tried to kind of have different situations, because that's all kinds of. It's not just the morale that's there. It's also you have separate meters for the condition of both your men and your vehicles.
Yeah.
You have space for buttons like reinforce, deploy.
You have a little text on what the status actually is, if it's moving or in battle or not deployed.
Yeah, I didn't move them. That's true. So I could have shown that it's like moving to this city.
Band of butlers. That's fun. Yeah, and we have the morale up here in the corner
with the little Sparta.
Yeah,
symbol.
It's actually the fun thing. It's the symbol of the Spartan battle shield symbol, and the Spartans were known for high morale. That's why we've chosen it to be the symbol for morale. I actually think the American Army have a badge that have that Spartan
the lambda.
The lambda, yeah.
And it's kind of weird. We say Sparta, but they called it Lacedaemon or something like that. That's why the L. It's letter L.
It's the letter L, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think it has some. I've totally forgot that. I'm not into.
If I'm not mistaken, the other name for Sparta is Lacedaemon.
It probably is, yeah. That's why it's an L.
Something like that.
Yeah. But if you Google search on the Spartan battle symbol, battle shield, you'll definitely see that symbol coming up. So that's a new little icon to learn, and it's very important for the strategy game.
Yeah, there's one thing that right now you can only see it in that.
Yeah, we haven't put it. It's the whole assault team window is in dire need of an overhaul. So obviously that'll come in there as well at some point. So
this is where you see.
We hope this is going to do some tricks for the strategy game.
I guess next on we wanted to show. I guess we'll unless maybe somebody asked. I guess we should have seen that one coming. Grumka Twitch is asking, what about people who already have generals? Will they be able to obtain those badges?
If they have converted their generals, then they still have the
ribbon.
The ribbon, and if they have a high enough level of ribbon, they will get the badge.
Otherwise, basically, if you have a general that's never been on the field,
if you bought if you go into the battle or the academy trained general, he would probably not have he would not have that ability for that particular badge. Obviously, it's only a few of them that we are going to allow.
Yeah, so that's basically the answer to that. But I guess I mean it makes sense that if you kind of bypass the whole
obviously
process,
it's something that we would like to we would probably have to look if we have an uproar of people who are unsatisfied or dissatisfied with this, then we might look into it. But so far, this is our decision on this. You have to play the game with your general all the way up.
Yeah, well, there certainly is already some people disagree with that, but I mean, then again, some people agree with it.
Some don't.
Some don't.
But we'll as always, we'll let it roll on the live server, see how it works, and if it seems to be a problem, then we change it. If it works, it works.
So I guess moving on to other things, there is a group. We wanted to show that because it's something that just started. If you go get it on the forum. Not that one, not this one.
This one.
This one. This is a new sub-forum you can find called Bug Hunters. And it's a brand new group that's been formed. Some of them have requested to have distinctive colors for their nicknames, so they're blue. They're mostly veteran players who have decided to basically help us find and reproduce some kind of elusive or rare bugs. So what they do is if you encounter a bug, you could actually, instead of reporting it to support, try and see if somebody else has the same bug on that forum, and then because they try to basically have several people put information together and try to test different scenarios with, for example, if you have uncommon, like rare or not very common hardware that you're using, or not very common software configurations, these guys are trying to identify and kind of narrow down what is causing certain bugs. And this is very appreciated. This is something we would like to see more and more, because that kind of helps also our QA team to, they have limited resources, so sometimes they have to focus on the bugs that are affecting everybody. So with this group, you could actually get somebody else to look at the kind of more bizarre or lesser known bug and maybe get our attention, at some point. Sometimes there's bugs that we can't reproduce. So if some group of people can reproduce it, then we can go and fix it. So you're welcome to go in there, and also it's so far it's a closed group. I think the bug hunters themselves, they're invitation only, so you cannot be one of the bug hunters immediately, but you can certainly talk to them and ask them for help in trying to identify bugs. And this, on a related note, there is another thing I wanted to show. If you can bring up the knowledge base.
There you go.
I think a lot of you have probably already noticed that if you go to the homepage on the support website. So now on the left side, now there's all of a sudden these articles that have started popping up. I've decided to put some advice for basically regarding the most common issues that people come up with. over and over. That are many of them are not even, they're not necessarily bugs, or they're not actual technical issues. There's some gameplay advice in there. There's some things like, for example, if you go into the gameplay section here, there's how do I find games for my Tiger, for example. There's a lot of players who they get into the game at first and they basically not really familiar already with the way the game works, try to get into a battle with their Tiger, and they always end up in a battle where there's, for example, only light tanks, and they wonder, like, when can I use my Tiger? There's the answer to that in there. I tried to put basically general advice that everybody can use, so it's not super, super specific issues that are addressed there, but when I find that something is lacking, I try to put it there. So I'll try to expand this section as new issues or new questions become kind of the topic of the day. And you are welcome to rate the articles. There's a rating system. If you kind of like the rating at the end of our battles, you get to choose from 1 to 5 stars. I guess it's very crude, but it helps us kind of tell if we're on the right track with the information that we provide there. So, this being said, I guess we can also maybe move on to. I think I already covered the Battle Vision winners last time, isn't it? Because we skipped last week because of holidays. Yeah, we did show that. Just mentioning again that there is this Battle Vision screenshot contest going on Steam, and the current theme is Stunt Crew. And basically what they're looking for is just basically stunts. Any stunt kind of qualifies for the 2,000 gold prize that the top 3 screenshots will earn. This goes on until the 17th of next month. I'm kind of at the end of my sheet. Oh no. Oh, I think there was one thing that, speaking of screenshots, Robotron saw one. No, it's in the Twitch folder, I think, on the desktop. There's a guy called Ali Kadam who decided to add a light to his. If you can open it so we can see it. There you go. I think it's kind of cute.
That's nice.
Actually, if we sometimes get the question about why vehicles don't have lights at night, but what was the reason again that the light kind of.
It's not really. You don't really want light on your vehicles.
Really want, yeah.
It's like, hey, shoot me.
But that's something that was kind of looked at, and
we had it in the beginning. It looked cool. It's like we put lights on the vehicles, but it's like it was too easy for people to see the enemy vehicle. So it's like took it off again. Obviously, we should put in a switch so you can switch it on and off and stuff. But it's just like it's more like a nice to have feature than a need to have. So
I think we might want to recap and make it a short one for this week.
What's on the? Is there anything on the other side of your paper?
The other side of my paper, I think. Nope, that's what we just covered.
All right.
We'll I guess get back to preparing for the release of the UTS build. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, that's the.
What the hell is that? Sorry,
I
just got this weird message from.
I know this Leto has been talking about that we should be able to use the PTRD as a lance when you.
Oh, there's a comment to the bicycle screenshot. I was like, what the hell is that? That would be awesome. PTRD joust.
Oh yeah, with the bayonet and scope.
Yeah, we forgot. I completely forgot to.
Yep.
Skål.
Skål.
So, Yeah, I can really wind things down now. So if you just walked in and...
Obviously you said Utz before and you did mean Vasilevsky, right?
Vasilevsky, yes, Vasilevsky. And people are coming...
Oh, what?
People are picking up on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's, again, if you just walked in, we, well, first off, we gave away a gift voucher, so if you kind of rewind to the beginning of the episode, you will... Yeah. You'll be able to redeem a voucher this weekend that gives you 1 day of veteran membership. We talked about a new feature that's coming, which is morale, and we talked also about some measures that we're taking to basically get rid of the kind of exploiting that goes on in the strategy game with the blocking battles. And we also talked about a little bit this new group, the Bug Hunter group. We won't be having a Devstream next week, as it's also another weird holiday.
Yes.
It's called Jesus Space Day in Denmark. Kristi Himmelfart.
We are so Christian here in Denmark.
Yeah.
We have holidays all over.
It's something to do with the flag.
We actually have one holiday that was like where a king, I can't remember which one, a few hundred years ago, got so annoyed that we have all these religious holidays that he decided to take all of them and bundle them into one.
That's the one from last week, isn't it?
The Store Bededag, the
big
major prayer day. It's just like, okay, do all your praying this one day instead of us spreading all over.
So, this being said, somebody just said, Jesus, you people in Denmark are like Greeks.
What?
I guess it's some kind of chauvinistic joke about not working.
We're very, very efficient. We don't work as much, but we are super efficient.
So, this being said, yeah, that is true. That's not something we can take away from Danes. So, we will be coming back 2 weeks from now, but this episode will be available shortly on YouTube and on Twitch TV. And by the way, you can follow us on Twitch and on Facebook and also on Twitter. And on Steam.
Yeah.
I always forget one because we are everywhere. And this being said, have a nice weekend.
Nice weekend.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.